Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Another busy sports weekend. Happy belated Valentine's Day to everybody. The Olympics continue and a couple of golf tournaments to talk about. Where do we start this week? I'd like to start with what I think is, or was, the biggest golf story of the weekend. And it just so happened to come out of the golf world. But I think a great sports story. First, I'll say that Colin Morikawa, congratulations for going out and winning at Pebble Beach this weekend. That was a big win, his first since 2023. Not sure if you saw any of that, but crazy conditions, windy day out on the ocean, and on the 18th hole, the final round on Sunday, Colin waited nearly a half an hour after hitting his drive to hit a second shot. Because of the winds. In the group ahead of him, they were having a hard time after they had marked their golf balls on the green, placing them down and having them not roll away because of how windy it was. And it was interesting to watch. And all the credit in the world to Colin for holding it together. That's a long time to wait before hitting your next shot. He did it, did a great job. Again, big win for him. First one in, I think it was more than 800 days. So congratulations to Colin. But I don't think that was the biggest golf story of the weekend. On Friday evening, I'd gotten a text from Jason, who I play golf with regularly, and he said, hey, LIV Golf is on if you're hanging out and don't have anything to do. And it was late. It was about 9 p.m. So didn't know there was a tournament happening, didn't know where it was, but it was the Adelaide LIV Golf Tournament, which is in Australia, which is why it was daylight in Australia and it was 9 o'clock at night here in the United States. And a quick shout out, hi to, I've noticed some listeners from Australia joining in. Happy to have you. Glad you're here. Hope you're enjoying the show. And hey, would love to get to Australia and play golf someday. But anyway, didn't have much going on. The Olympics weren't holding my attention. So changed the channel and tuned into the LIV Adelaide Golf Tournament. A lot of the usual suspects towards the top of the leaderboard, Bryson, John Rahm, but there was a name on the leaderboard that stuck out to me, and that name was Anthony Kim, a name that I haven't seen in or around golf in a very long time. Honestly, I wasn't even sure it was the same Anthony Kim that I remember. When the cameras went to him, I didn't even really recognize him. Again, it's been a long time since I've seen him on a golf course. He looked like a guy who had been through a lot. And at that time, I didn't really know his story, but started to dig into it. So for those of you that don't know Anthony Kim, let me give you a quick history. He turned pro in 2006, and he had 4 top 10 finishes during his rookie season. He won his first tournament in 2008, and then won again later that year. So with his second victory of 2008, he became the first American under 25 years old to win 2 tournaments in a year since Tiger Woods in 2000. By the end of 2008, he was ranked 6th in the world's rankings. In 2009, he set the record with the most birdies in a single round at Augusta during the Masters with 11 birdies in a round at Augusta. In 2010, he won the Houston Open to become the 5th player in 30 years to have 3 wins on the PGA Tour before the age of 25. And he was in pretty good company. The other names on that list, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Sergio Garcia, and Adam Scott. So this guy, he was the real deal. We talked last week about Scotty Scheffler. and how much he's accomplished at a very young age, and his staying power, his consistency. And Anthony Kim was a guy who could have been Scotty Scheffler. But as I started this thing out, I hadn't seen him in a decade. In June of 2012, he had surgery for an Achilles injury and completely disappeared from golf and apparently nearly almost from the face of the earth. As you read about his story, and he's pretty forthcoming about battles with depression, thoughts of suicide, addiction to drugs and alcohol, rehab. So like I said, when I saw him on TV on Friday night, he looked like a guy who had been through a lot, and he has. So he resurfaced last year playing in LIV Golf. In March of 2024, he played in the LIV Golf Jeddah tournament, and he finished in last place. He was 16 over par, 33 shots off the lead. For the 2024 season, he finished 56 out of 57 players. But he continued working, playing, and improving, and was given an opportunity to continue to play on LIV this year. His big break came this year when Dustin Johnson signed Kim to his Four Aces team when Patrick Reed decided to leave the league. And who knows what Dustin Johnson saw, what anybody else saw, but I think what people probably saw was this guy beginning to round into form and have his game return to a glimmer of what it was years before. And Anthony Kim says himself, he's lucky to be alive. It's amazing that he is here today. But he went through a lot. He survived. And this weekend, he started the final day, 5 shots behind Bryson DeChambeau and John Rahm, and went on to win by 3 after shooting a final round 9 under 63, his first victory in 16 years, which he celebrated with his wife and his 4-year-old daughter after the victory. Just an amazing story. So welcome back, Anthony Kim. I hope he keeps it together. I hope that he's been through a lot and that the success, the money, the pressure that will come along with it doesn't push him back into the dark place where he had been for so long. It's a great story, and I hope it continues, and I hope this guy succeeds for him and his family. This is what I love about sports, just the people, the stories, overcoming challenging things in life, physically, mentally, seeing people rise to being the best version of themselves is what it's all about. And it's why I think as a world we come together and we enjoy the Olympics every few years. We don't know these folks, and when you look at the total dedication it takes to, I don't care what you do, whether it's curling or figure skating or downhill skiing, sprinting, basketball, whatever it is, the amount of dedication that goes into rising to a level where you are not the best in your high school or the best in your college, but the best in the world at something is an amazing thing. So again, welcome back, Anthony Kim. Great story. Congratulations. And hey, they've got my interest. I'm going to be tuning in to LIV Golf tournaments to check on Anthony and see how he's doing. So let's talk about my golf weekend. And I mentioned in the last show that I had a lot going on this weekend. I have 2 sons that live out of state. Both were supposed to be coming home to visit over the weekend. And those plans got away from us a little bit and fell apart. My one son canceled his trip on Friday because his wife was not feeling well. Tammy, if you're listening, I hope you're feeling better. And my other son found out that Spirit Airlines had canceled his flight for early Saturday morning. He was able to reschedule, come in on Sunday, change his plans a little bit. So we'll take one out of the two. It's always good to have the kids home, but it opened up some opportunities. It opened up some golfing opportunities for me that I wasn't expecting to have, specifically on Friday. So Friday morning started with a golf lesson, and I had taken the day off on Friday, knowing that the sons were coming home, expecting to go to the airport and pick one of. But hey, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So like I said, started the day with a golf lesson on Friday morning and told Reggie that I had been frustrated, felt like my game had at best plateaued, at worst, I'd taken a few steps back, and talked a lot about missing left and hitting some serious pull hooks specifically with irons, but driver on occasion too. And so watched me swing the club a few times, and he said, well, when we started this process a few months ago, you were hitting the ball the other way and you were slicing the ball because your angle of attack was really steep. You were outside in, and we had to work on getting you moving in the other direction. And he said, I think we've accomplished that, but I think we may have taken it a little too far. So it's good. It's good that we got you out of this place where you're slicing everything, but now the misses are in the other direction and we need to work back towards the middle. So that's what we did. For the next half an hour, we worked on, and I guess as he explained it, it was bringing my hands, keeping my hands inside and rotating around my body, but keeping the club head out, extended, and not bringing that as far around my body as I'm bringing my hands. And that's probably a terrible explanation. But as we looked at video and compared it to other people's swings, I understood what he was saying, wasn't sure that I could do what he was saying, but gave me something to think about. So we finished the lesson. I hit golf balls for about another hour, hit a lot of golf balls, working on changing my swing pattern, and then headed home. When I got home, opened up the web to see if there were any tee times available at Oriole, and there was a 1:30 p.m. tee time. Sent a text to Jason, asked him if he was available. He's like, yep, I'm in. So reserved the tee time and planned to get out to Oriole at 1:30 to play. Friday was a beautiful afternoon. Got to the course. I got there about 1 o'clock. Chipped, pitched, hit some putts. What I didn't know is Jason had already been there for a bit. He had had the day off, got there early, and the course was packed. Much like I said last week, when I arrived, tons of cars, and the amount of Quebec license plates is absolutely overwhelming. I don't know what it is about this area of the world that draws people from Quebec. Man, do they love to be here, and they love to go out and play golf. So we got out a little late. I think the 1:30 tee time. I don't believe we teed off until about 1:45. But again, I didn't have a pickup to make at the airport. Had the day off. Wasn't in a huge hurry. Was happy to be out playing golf. We were joined by two singles. Had never played with them before. They didn't know each other. And we were off. We were off and playing golf. So Friday started really well. Par on 1, birdie on 2. Actually, the same exact thing for Jason. We both parred the par 5 first, birdied the par 4 second. 1 under going into 3 is a great way to start, and continue to play decent golf through the balance of the front 9. At the end of 9, I was 4 over par and Jason was also 4 over par. And that's a rarity. I think, again, it's something I've talked about. He's a better golfer than me. Jason expects to go out and shoot rounds in the 70s. His his goal is to be at par or shoot around below par, where I am, as the title of the podcast says, committed to trying to break 80. But 40 on the front is certainly a good start. And while the golf was good on Friday, what was unfortunate was, in addition to teeing off late, the play was slow. Golf course was crowded. The one thing I would say about Oriole is there is not a marshal. There's not anyone out there speeding up play. So generally, when I play on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, it's the same groups behind us, ahead of us. They're all members. They all keep a good pace. Without question, it's going to be a 4-hour round on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Afternoons are a bit of a wild card, and Friday was a wild card. So much so that the 2 singles that had joined us both called it a day after 9 holes because the pace of play was just too slow. But again, didn't have anywhere to be. Certainly was off to a good start and wanted to stay out there and keep playing. I parred 10, and I believe Jason bogeyed 10. So after 10 holes, I was shockingly, amazingly leading. We don't play heads up because, again, he's just a better golfer than I am. And we weren't really playing heads up on Friday. But when we're in the same place, I feel good. He feels the other way. When we're in the same place, he feels like he's not playing very good golf. I feel like I am playing good golf. But man, was the pace of play just brutally slow. I talked about how much respect I had for Colin Morikawa waiting 20 minutes, 30 minutes to hit his second shot into 18 frequently. That was the kind of weights that we were up against. And it started to go south. It started to go south, honestly, for both of us. Through the final 7 holes on Friday, I shot 12 over. So shot 88 on Friday, which is 40 on the front, 48 on the back. An unfortunate way to end the day, but hit 7 greens in regulations, made 7 pars and a birdie. I played good golf on Friday, and I do think the pace of play hurt. Like I said, it's not a great excuse. What I'd say, and I'll take this moment to do I don't know what to call it, a public service announcement on pace of play on golf courses. And I think the key thing is to keep an eye on the group ahead of you. It's not necessarily the groups behind you. If you're a foursome and there's a twosome playing behind you, look, they're going to catch you. But somewhere on that course, and actually I think we know where it was, there's a group that has let the group in front of them get away from them. And there's 2 holes clear, and that group is holding everybody else on the course up. And you can't let one threesome or foursome hold up the other 20 that are out there. And even from a golf course perspective, no one wants to go out and play 5 and 6 hour rounds of golf. So allowing that to happen is the kind of thing that makes people say, I'm not going to go back and I'm not going to play that course again. So if you're out there playing, keep the pace of play. You can play poorly and still play quickly, but keep an eye on that group in front of you. Keep up with the group in front of you and keep moving. Don't be the group to hold up everybody else out there on the golf course. I wasn't even sure at one point if we were going to finish the round. It gets dark. Well, it gets to a point where you really can't see the golf balls anymore around 6:30. And that's right around the time we finished up. 1:30 tee time, finishing up at 6:30 p.m. is a frustrating afternoon. So finished up there, came home. Not sure exactly what I did Friday evening. I'm sorry. I do know what I couldn't find much to watch on TV. and then ended up watching LIV Golf and Anthony Kim, which I just talked about. Woke up early on Saturday morning. Saturday morning, we have a 7:30 a.m. tee time. It was myself, Jason, and Al. Another beautiful morning, 65 to start the day, warming up to about 80 degrees. And Saturday did not go well. So on Saturday, I made 0 pars, hit 0 greens in regulation. I shot 56 on the front and 49 on the back for a 105. And if you noticed in today's title, it was I broke 100, but in the wrong direction. There was a time a couple of years ago where that was my goal to break 100, but to go below 100. This weekend, I broke 100 going in the wrong direction. The worst round of golf I've played at Oriole, it's been a year since February of 2025. And I just couldn't make solid contact with driver, irons, wedges. I don't think I hit a good ball. Even if it was a miss, the kind of ball where like I hit that one well. I didn't say that once on Saturday. Couldn't find the center of the club face and just struggled the whole day. What I would say is that while it was frustrating, it was so bad that I just had to laugh. I really do think I tried to stay in it. Look, I probably putted a little more quickly than I normally would because lining up a putt and standing over it for 10 seconds when you're shooting 105, for me, really doesn't make a difference and is just holding up everybody else. So I stayed positive, tried to stay happy. It was a beautiful day. Was happy to be out on the golf course. What I do think, and I started to feel it early on the front 9, was my left hip was bothering me. My lower back was bothering me. And while again, I didn't stop because it wasn't so painful that I couldn't play, but I do think it probably changed the way I was swinging the golf club, and it hurt my game on Saturday. Backing up, I hit a ton of golf balls on Friday morning during my lesson and after my lesson. Went out and played a 5-hour round of golf on Friday afternoon that didn't finish until 6:30 p.m. Woke up at 6 a.m. to be back at the golf course for a 7:30 round. And I think it caught up to me. And that may sound, if there's some younger people listening, like, what's the big deal? And there was a time in my life where that shouldn't have been a big deal. But as I've gotten a little older, some of those turnarounds can be difficult. They shouldn't be. I need to be in better shape and better able to handle that kind of turnaround. There's no reason. I'd love to go out and play 36 holes. And while I could get through it, I'd feel it. So what I did commit to doing when I came home Saturday afternoon was went to YouTube, and I will share it in the comments below. Looked through some yoga for golf videos, found one that I thought was going to meet my needs, and did a 20-minute yoga routine that I've now done for the past couple of days because I think it's a great hip stretch, shoulder stretch, back stretch. And I felt better. I've felt better since doing it. And again, backing way up to my New Year's resolutions, one of the things I said is I need to be fitter. I need to be in better golf shape. And I just need to be in better shape overall. And I was reminded on Saturday of why I said that. So rough day on Saturday. Interestingly enough, wasn't a great day for Jason either. And I'm not sure what it was because, again, it was a nice day. No excuses. Maybe he felt some of the same. Maybe he had some of, got to the range early on Friday afternoon, hit balls, played a 5-hour round of golf, was up watching LIV Golf till midnight, got up early, went back out, and it caught up to us. So that brings me to Sunday. And Sunday, the tee time is a little later. about 8:30. I did feel better. The pain in the hip and the lower back were gone. Got there early, went to the range, wanted to try and work through some of the demons that had appeared in my game on Saturday morning. And in some ways, I think I did. I still wasn't hitting the ball great, but I worked on some of the things that I had spoken with Reggie about on Friday morning and felt like I had a chance to go out and play better golf. Didn't it didn't really turn out that way, especially not early on. On Sunday, I picked up right where I left off on Saturday. I didn't hit a green in regulation or make a par until the 7th hole on Sunday. So on Friday, I parred 18. That was my last par because on Saturday, I didn't make a par or hit a green in regulation over 18 holes. And through the first 6, the same continued on Sunday. So 24 straight holes without hitting a green, without making a par, and finally ended that on Sunday on the 7th hole. Things got a little better from there, but still not playing the kind of golf that I wanted to play. I finished up on Sunday the final 6 holes with 3 pars and 3 bogeys, so call it 3 over par through the final 6 holes of the day. And the other thing I'd say about Sunday is it's amazing because we just talked about Colin at Pebble Beach and how windy it was. It was windy like that in South Florida as well. And I didn't expect it. I was surprised by the wind on Sunday. Temperature-wise, another beautiful day, but I would say the winds were consistently about 15 miles an hour with gusts into the 30 to 35 mile an hour range. On the 13th hole on Sunday, I had, after my drive, it was par 4, I had about 125 yards into the green, which normally would be a pitching wedge. But the wind was blowing, and I was right into it. So my first thought was to go up a club and hit a 9-iron. A 9-iron would normally be, call it 145 yards. So again, this was a 125-yard shot. Held the 9-iron in my hand for a moment, put it back down in the bag, and then pulled 8-iron because, again, the wind was really whipping. So I hit 8-iron. 8-iron is 150 to 155 for me, into a green where the pin was 125 yards out. And I came up 10 yards short with my 8-iron. Now, I'd say it wasn't the best 8-iron that I had ever hit, but I hit it pretty well. And initially, when it came off the club face, thought, that might be long. But I got it up into the air, and it is like it just hit a wall and came straight back down. So 93 on Sunday in gusty, windy conditions, given how Saturday went, is not terrible. But it's exactly what I said when I talked about my lesson with Reggie, that I feel like I have at best plateaued. At worst, my golf game has begun to erode. And my handicap reflects that. Hit a low handicap of 15.5 in the middle of January, and now in the middle of February, I am up more than a full point to 16.7. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see that happening. But again, I know that this thing it's not the way it works. Not the way improvement works, is that you always get better, 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 better. There's hills, there's valleys, there's peaks. And especially in golf, you see it. You can watch the PGA Tour and see a guy shoot 68 on Thursday and shoot 78 on Friday. It's such a tough game. And I continue to say that it can get away from you. And on Sunday, Jason had a rough day on Sunday again too. So I don't know if we were feeding off of each other and that as one of our golf games goes south, the other does a little bit too. But I'm definitely in a rut. I think he is too. And I'm trying to find my way out. So this coming week, I have a lesson scheduled for late on Wednesday, and we're going to get out to the course and work around the greens, chipping, pitching, and bunker shots. And I told Reggie, I said, if I can't figure out how to get out of the bunker, I'm just going to start putting because the bunkers are killing me. But he agreed that this week, that's what we're working on. We're getting out, we're working on hitting shots around the green, and I have to be better there. And I have to be better with driver. 2 weeks ago, I was hitting driver. Man, I could not have been happier with the way I was hitting driver. Making great center face contact. Even if I was missing the fairways by a little bit, I was missing them by a little bit. Couple of yards off left, couple of yards off right. But hitting the ball 240 to 250, which for someone in their late 50s is pretty good. And I don't know where it went, but all of a sudden I'm back to much bigger misses. And even when I'm hitting fairways, they're kind of knuckly, heely, 210, 215 yard drives that they just leave me, 30 or 40 more yards in than I had a couple of weeks ago. So it is frustrating because I don't feel like I changed anything. Clearly I have. And if I knew what it was, I'd change it back. But it comes and it goes. And right now it's gone. And I can't wait to get it back. So that's the plan, is lesson outside, chipping, pitching, sand shots, coupled with I'm really going to ramp up my efforts to improve strength, improve flexibility, improve my eating habits, shed some pounds, and I've got to commit to this thing on all levels. If I'm going to continue to improve, I've got to identify all the areas, all the things that I can do to help. And some of them won't be a direct correlation. It's not, hey, this will help you hit your driver 10 yards further. I'm not sure how it will help my game to be fitter, more flexible, stronger, but I'm confident it will. And I've got to do it. I'm still committed to breaking 80. I really want to break 80 in 2026. Frustrated that I broke 100. But again, it's all part of the journey. And when I get there, man, will it feel good. So, hey, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. What did you watch this weekend? Were you more impressed with Anthony Kim or with Colin Morikawa? How do you handle the frustration of slow play on a golf course? How do you stay in the game? And when you do hit a rut, when your game does go in the wrong direction, what do you do to turn it around? How do you get things going back in the way you would like to get them going? So if you're on Spotify, feel free to leave a comment. Everybody else, send me an email, breaking80over50@gmail.com. Let me hear from you. How's your golf game? Or maybe you're not playing because it's the middle of winter. And if you're not, what are you looking forward to? Or what are you working on? What are you working on during your off season to ensure that when the weather gets nice where you are, that you're ready to go out and play good golf? I think that's it. I think that's it from South Florida. Another bump in the road this weekend, but I'm keeping at it and I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to keep playing, going to keep the frustrations at bay and find my way to that magical 79. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, thank you. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you hung in there for the whole show. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like, subscribe, and maybe share this with a friend. It really helps to grow the community. And let me know you're out there. If you listen on Spotify, leave a comment or a question, or send me an email at breaking80over50@gmail.com. I promise I'll read every one. All music was provided by Epidemic Sound, and I'll leave links to any of the content that I mentioned during the podcast in the show notes. Keep swinging, keep smiling, and remember, it's a game. Get out there and have fun. Thanks, everybody.